I never thought betrayal would be quiet. Not loud, not dramatic. No screaming, no broken plates, no obvious signs. Just silence, slowly getting heavier. I had been married to her for 7 years. 7 years of routines, habits, shared mornings, shared bills, shared plans. We weren't perfect, but we were stable. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Stability can feel a lot like love when you're tired enough. The first thing that changed wasn't her behavior. It was my body. I started waking up earlier for no reason. My chest felt tight in the mornings like I'd forgotten something important. I couldn't explain it. There was no proof, no evidence, just a quiet pressure behind my ribs that wouldn't leave. She still kissed me goodbye, still asked how my day was, still laughed at the same jokes. And that's what scared me the most, because nothing was wrong, except everything felt wrong. It started with her phone, not the messages, not the calls, the way she held it. She used to leave it anywhere, on the kitchen counter, on the couch, on the bed while she showered. Now it never left her hand. Even when she stood up for 2 seconds, she took it with her, like it might disappear. I told myself I was paranoid, that people change, that stress does things to you. But paranoia doesn't come from nowhere. It grows when your instincts are being ignored. I didn't confront her, not once. That was my first smart decision. Instead, I watched. I noticed how she suddenly started caring about how she looked when she went out with friends, how she checked herself in the mirror before leaving, but barely looked at me anymore, how she smiled at her phone, not the polite smile, but the private one, the kind people don't realize they're making. Weeks passed like that, then months, and I lived in a constant state of almost knowing. One night she came home late, later than usual. She said traffic was bad. She said her phone died. She said she tried to call. Her lies were simple, too simple. That night, she fell asleep instantly, like someone who had already lived their real life earlier and was exhausted from pretending. I lay there next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe, and I realized something terrifying. I didn't want the truth anymore, because once I had it, I would have to act. Still, I kept watching. I started documenting things, quietly, dates, times, changes, patterns. I became someone I didn't recognize, calm on the outside, calculating on the inside. I stopped reacting emotionally. I stopped asking questions. People think cheating is discovered in a moment. It's not. It's discovered in fragments, a receipt that doesn't match a story, a mood that doesn't match a day, a distance that doesn't match a marriage, and slowly the fragments formed a picture. The moment I knew for sure didn't come from her. It came from me. I realized I was no longer jealous. I was detached. And detachment is what comes right before clarity. One afternoon, she forgot her laptop at home. She called me, panicked, asking if I could bring it to her. I said yes, calmly. While packing it, I noticed an email notification pop up. Just a name. No message preview. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. Because her reaction had already told me everything. Fear doesn't lie. That night, I made a decision. I wouldn't confront her. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't explode. I would wait. Because when someone thinks they're safe, they become careless. It took 3 more weeks. 3 weeks of pretending everything was normal. 3 weeks of dinners, conversations, shared space. 3 weeks of her slowly slipping. Then it happened. She said she was meeting a friend for coffee. I nodded, kissed her on the cheek, wished her a good time. Then I followed her. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. I felt strangely focused, like this was something I'd been training for without knowing it. She didn't go to a cafe. She went to an apartment building. She rang the bell, waited, smiled, and someone let her in. I didn't go inside. I didn't need to, because at that moment, something inside me went quiet forever. I went home. I sat on the couch, and I planned. Not revenge, not yet. First, protection. I gathered documents, financial records, screenshots, evidence. I backed everything up in places she would never find. I spoke to a lawyer without telling anyone. I became invisible. She thought she was winning. She thought she was clever. And that made what came next easier. The confrontation didn't happen in anger. It happened on a Sunday morning. I made coffee. She noticed. I laid everything on the table. Calmly. Dates, times, proof. No accusations, no raised voice. She didn't deny it. She cried. And in that moment, I felt nothing. No rage, no sadness, no satisfaction. Just confirmation. She said it just happened. That she was confused. That it didn't mean anything. They all say that. I listened. Then I stood up and said the only thing that mattered, I know. That was it. The divorce was quiet. Too quiet for her. She expected chaos. She expected me to fight for her. To beg. To collapse. Instead, I disappeared from her emotional life completely. Coldness hurts more than anger. Months later, I heard she tried to reach out. Tried to explain herself again. Tried to reopen a door that no longer existed. I never replied. People ask me if I regret not confronting her earlier. No, because I didn't just discover betrayal. I discovered who I was when everything I believed was stripped away. And that knowledge, that stays with you forever.